So it feels like I'm in an election campaign or something here. Woo! Go David, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna start with a quick introduction of who I am, because that's quite important. Because obviously I'm standing up here in front of you, so the next slides need a little bit of kind of credibility behind them. So I've put this kind of evolution graphic here in the back just to show you how good I am with graphics. And basically what I'm trying to say there is that I've evolved a lot. I've learned, a lot of the stuff I've learned, I actually learned on my own. I started off as a designer working part-time to make money to get drunk in the weekends when I was studying law. Yeah, I know, law. Fuck it. So I gave up on that pretty quickly. My background led me to kind of get involved in UX, brand design, internet marketing, SEO. I've just tried to get involved in as many things as I could. And long story short, getting involved in a lot of companies, working a lot of campaigns, that led me to work with Conversion Rate Experts, which is a UK-based company. I worked there as a consultant, really lucky to work with some really big brands, big traffic, and everything was numbers-based. So if there's anything we learned, it was that you need to measure everything, right? I don't completely agree with that, but numbers are really important in order to understand the impact of what you're doing. So I became quite metrics-oriented. Loads of split tests going on, and I was lucky enough to have some really big wins for some big companies. So the last project I was working on just before I stopped consulting and switched to HotJar, we had a win, so a split test. We changed the site, changed the design, changed the copy, and that led to an impact of lifetime value of $7 million, just that change alone. So it's quite rewarding to be able to kind of get involved in these projects and actually see direct impact on what you're doing. Okay, so what is HotJar? So during this time of working, doing all these tests and having these awesome results, I had a big pain point. A lot of the tools we're using, they're bloody expensive. And I realized that historically, the years before, when I was a designer just doing stuff, I couldn't afford this stuff, and I could have done some really cool things. And I said, why the hell don't creatives all around the world have access to these tools? Why should a simple tool, which is not charging a lot of hosting to the provider, cost $500 a month? So that pissed me off. So basically, I decided I wanted to democratize these tools because they were so powerful. When I was working in design, I was striving constantly to try and understand what is a design that works. It's definitely not the client saying, ooh, I like. That's not what we're after. And it's definitely not, okay, maybe there is the creativity, but that's not really what we're after. What we're trying to do is generate value. Now, whether it's for the company or the clients of that company, you want to generate value. So you want to measure that. So that led to HotJar. HotJar is basically a collection of all the tools that we were using in this period of time, so over a period of 12 years, roughly, and they're all put together in one solution. And this is kind of quite different, because currently all the tools that kind of compete with this are all kind of fragmented. Hit it. So that's basically what we're doing. So what we did is, you probably heard some of these brands. So we took pretty much what Clicktail, Quoraloo, Crazy Egg, SurveyMonkey, all these guys are doing, and we put it into one. And then we said, okay, let's do something clever. Let's change the way it's done. These guys kind of collect data across all traffic, across all the site. And we said, no, let's do it report-driven. So I need data on this page. So I go get it, make a change, and then do it again. And by taking this sampling approach, we brought it down to $29 a month. So that allows us to democratize it. And then we've also taken it next step and told agencies, listen, use it on your clients, and for each client, you just pay $9 a month. So we literally want to revolutionize this market. And it's paying off so far. So yeah, here's a quick preview of the tool. What's awesome, and I'm really proud of, is that this is completely made in Malta. And we're really proud of it. On our homepage, yep, for Malta. Because, yeah, and this is the part where we're coming to the team. We're not all Maltese. There's a nice Maltese-Swedish mix. We're 6 people. But this is pretty much built in Malta. 2 of the guys who built a lot of this are actually here tonight. So there's Jonathan Vella and Mark von Brockdorf. Awesome developers and developer in UX. Jonathan UX, Mark on dev. So yeah, it's a really awesome tool, and the feedback has been amazing. We pretty much started only 7 months ago. And since 7 months ago, we've had some awesome results. We're purely beta. No one is paying anything right now. So currently, we've had 18,000 people join the beta, and 7,000 are active users. Of them, they're doing data, generating data on nearly 23,000 sites. It's quite interesting to see what's been achieved. And later on, we're going to look at how we achieved this. But again, this was all done, small team of 6. So yeah, some awesome stuff. We've actually managed to handle 6,646 conversations, which generated like 700 feature suggestions, of which we executed 4,000 to 5,000 lines of code, fixed 231 bugs, and then created 69 new features based on those requests. So everything is like numbers driven. Everything is measured, everything is prioritized. We work in a very, very lean way. So what are the lessons of going from designer getting drunk in the weekend to building HotJar? So 12 years gap. So let's hit number 1. Build a product for a market. So obviously, what I'm talking about here, my story is a little bit different from Peter's. Peter's talked more about the service. I'm going to focus more on the product. So the biggest mistake I've made, and I'm an idiot for it because it took me like 6 years to realize, was that I was building a lot of products which I thought were cool. Or this solves an amazing problem. Or God damn it, they're going to love this product. But in reality, it doesn't work that way. And we learned that the difficult kind of route. Mark and I, we were working together before. We launched like 2, 3 tools, which we thought were going to every time like fixing a problem and taking to the next level. But we finally realized that the only way to succeed is to first think market. So where are there a big pool of people who need something, they actually are looking for it. You don't want to go changing people's behavior. So if people want to buy red shirts, don't go start making pink tank tops. You are free to change all the rules within that market. So you can change the model, you can change the way it's delivered, you can change the platform. So you need to change, but you need to go for an existing market. And more importantly, it's not enough to fix a problem, and it's not enough in the product sphere to just have passion. So it's very risky. A lot of people, we've been sold a little bit on the product side, this dream, which I had as well, which is follow your passion, you will succeed. Bullshit. You need passion, it's critical. But you need to build a product that generates value and be passionate about it. That's the most important thing. Passion will not bring success. It doesn't work, believe me. And I'm very passionate. Okay. So yeah, as we go along, I've thrown in a few books, which I think are quite awesome. I think people can access these slides later on, right? So yeah, brilliant. So you can continue drinking. So this book talks about exactly this. I read this book and I was like, shit. I've spent 20 years thinking that things work the way they do, but marketing is not, it absolutely is not what I thought it was. We had a picture of a brain there. Marketing is not advertising, it's not campaigns. Marketing is the war of perception. So I can sell to you that my product is the best, even if it's the worst. And the reality is the best product doesn't necessarily win. It tends to be easier if your product is awesome, obviously, but at the end of the day, that's not what it's all about. Read this book, 22 points, it's awesome, you can finish it in like 3 days, it's gonna change your perception completely. Even if you're not doing marketing, this is a must read. 2, think big, start small. You beat me to this. So yeah, this is so important. It's so important for you to kind of think big. Everyone says think big, have great plans, but the most important thing is probably start small. Dominate something really small and expand from there. If tonight you get super drunk and you break a window up here and you end up in a criminal offense thing in the law courts, you're not going to want a generic lawyer, right? You're going to want a criminal lawyer. So start small, start niche, start focused, and then expand from there. That's super important. Just like Facebook did. They dominated one college. That's it. That was the key. And then expand from there. No company in the world started by saying, okay, we're going to dominate the world. We're going to take the whole market. Doesn't make sense. But the problem is we see Facebook now that it reached mainstream, so we think that's the way to go. Sell it before you build it. This was a crazy, crazy approach we took with HotJar. So we saw that there was this interesting opportunity. And actually, I must say that there was, I'm not going to say who the competitor was, but there was a competitor who was already doing this. So I called him. I was like, guys, this idea is awesome. I want in. I'll give you money. I've saved up from my consulting work. I'll help you grow it. And they're like, yeah, no, thank you. Who the hell are you? So it's like, okay, so let's try and build it. I tweaked the model, changed it, made it more interesting, and basically we built an MVP in like a month, which was really shit. And basically we threw a page together, a website, explaining what it was, and we're like, if you like this, put in your email. And we're working along, and all of a sudden we're seeing these emails coming in, and we're like, oh shit, it seems like this is actually working. And this started to evolve and become bigger and bigger, and we realized we had scratched an itch. We had found a problem that people kind of identified with. So pretty much we had, I think, 30,000 email addresses before we had even built something which was viable. We didn't have any credit card processing management. Well, actually, we still don't have it. So we built it the other way around. And another thing, don't build for scale. It makes no sense. Don't build for 50,000 people. We built a product that could be used by 5. So if the 6th one came in, it was going to break. So, and then you scale up as you go along. That's the most important thing. So MVP is quite important. On that, this book, some of you might have heard of it, it's awesome, The Lean Startup. It goes around this concept of lean. Okay? 4, this is really important. If you want to sell stuff to people, you need to understand the people. And we're weird creatures. We are really weird. I've read some interesting books and seen some studies and run some split tests which make no sense. So you push up prices, people buy more. You give an excuse which makes no sense, but just because there's an excuse, they will buy more. There's a lot of logic that you can't understand unless you see the kind of the background of it. So with HotJar, we used a lot of this. We were limited by the scalability issue we had, so we created a waiting list. People went nuts. Then we said, okay, waiting list works, so let's get people to kind of refer each other so they move up in the queue. People went bonkers. So this was kind of something that actually fueled the whole thing, like the social campaign. So pretty much giving you some metrics, I think we had 60% of the 60,000 emails that we've got so far came from referrals, which was just awesome. And the word has spread so much that yesterday we got called by VentureBeat. They want to cover the launch. Everything is just starting to kind of boom now. Okay. And on that, this is the ultimate book. Super simple, 6 principles. You understand these 6 principles, I guarantee to you that you can build a product or a service which will be much more appealing because you can get people to say yes. And finally, the most important thing. This really pisses me off. We invest in clothes, we invest in eating, we invest in a lot of things, but we don't invest in ourselves. I'm not going to do the show of hands bullshit stuff, but probably most of you in here haven't bought a book for yourself or a short course in a long time. Don't be cheap with yourself, you cheap bastards. Invest in yourself. And it shouldn't be something you do once a year, like let me do a course next year, or I'm going to do this course at university. No, you need to increase 1% every day. So grab a book and read a chapter every day. Read an article every day. Learn something new every day. Meet something new, someone new. And the reasoning behind this is because if you had $1 million, what you wanted, you'd want compounded interest. You don't want simple interest. So you don't want to take a course every now and then because you're going to be Mr. Yellow Line here. But if you aim to grow yourself 1% every day, magical stuff starts to happen because then your learning starts to compound. And believe me, this really works. This was taught to me by conversion rate experts, and it's really awesome. So 1% a day. And on that note, final 2 things. This is an awesome book about growth mindset. And secondly, this is something everyone should read. It explains everything. Marketing, sales. It's just awesome. Don't do an MBA. Just read this book. It's much better. Sorry if you did an MBA. I'm sorry. But yeah, you can follow me on Twitter, and I blog on outsidethehotjar.com. Cheers. Thank you.